9:19, Fitz in the morning. Thanks for keeping me company here on this Thursday. Enjoy today. This will be the coolest day, about 99 or so, coolest day that you're going to see for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, summer arrives this coming week, and Patrick Evans just left to go on vacation, so he doesn't have to hear any grief about how hot it is starting this weekend. So it is what it is. It is the desert, and great time to pay attention to what's going on with your water and all the stuff in the water that you hear about, the pharmaceuticals, all the chemicals. You hear me talk about Crystal Clear Home, that amazing water filtration system that Wendy and I are constantly asked when we're out and about. Does that really work? You know, I've been telling you about Crystal Clear Home for many years. And on the phone with me this morning is the head of Pure Elements, which owns Crystal Clear Home, our friend Rick Allen. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, Fitz. How are you?
I'm spectacular. We're working hard to make sure that we spread the word about Crystal Clear Home. And in this day and age, with all the craziness about our water, it's more important that people check it out. And you are the man who knows everything from A to Z.
Thank you. I don't know about that. I learn something new every day. If I ever stop learning, that'll be the end.
Hey, my grandfather died at 84, and that was one of his favorite sayings. I learned something every day when he was in his 80s. So, Rick, what is the deal with this Chromium 6?
Well,
and explain what is Chromium 6?
Chromium 6 is both a naturally occurring contaminant. It's a heavy metal, right. And it's also something that's not naturally occurring, that is caused from chemical plants and tanneries, cooling towers, different industrial processes. Mm-hmm. So there are really two different sources of it, and obviously the latter is potentially more harmful to you and me. But it's something that we've been watching, and it's rearing its ugly head in the valley. It's been there for a while, but there's been a variety of things that are happening. And part of my message this morning, I believe, needs to be in support of the water districts in the different areas as they try to battle the things that are going on. This, Fitz, you might remember, this is the thing that the movie Erin Brockovich brought to the forefront.
Right.
And that was her first gig, and with PG&E in the Inland Empire, with these things causing cancer and birth defects and all other sorts of issues. And obviously that was the industrial grade of this stuff.
Right.
So, what's happening in our world in general is that scientifically we're able to test to lower and lower levels of different contaminants and things, and then we're able to jab lab rats with these things and start to figure out that maybe they aren't so great, and maybe they're causing cancer or other ailments in the rats. And then what happens is, of course, our government agencies come in and say, well, okay, with that happening, we need to protect you and me, and so we're going to either set new limits or we're going to lower limits that the water districts are required to comply with to keep us all safe.
Mm-hmm.
The infinite battle between the water districts and the large volume of water that they drive through there and that they treat, and the limits, is money. Because in order to meet new limits, sometimes the technology is so expensive that it makes it prohibitive or almost impossible for a water district to meet the levels. And so recently that's happened with Chromium 6. California has lowered the levels to 10 parts per billion. And what's happening in the valley is there are a large number of wells in all of the water districts, or almost all the water districts, that contain naturally occurring Chromium 6, and those are at or above the new legal limit. And what is happening is, of course, the state and the feds are coming in and saying, Mr. Municipality, you need to meet these new limits, and how are you going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, Coachella Valley Water District, being one of the largest there, is faced with quite a challenge on this, and they've got about 40% roughly of their wells that are over the new legal limit, and roughly 20% more that are sitting right at the legal limit. So I thought I'd talk for a second, and I do want to give a shout out to the Desert Sun. They just did an article on this recently that's a very accurate article and great information. So if you Google that, you can see that. But the Water District is trying to figure out how to meet these standards. And so one of the things that's going on in the valley, and everybody should understand this, is that most of the water coming to you and I for drinking and use in our homes is local well water. Most of the water coming to irrigate farms, to water the golf courses and all of those things, is imported water from the Colorado River.
Right.
So that plays into this whole mosaic of trying to figure everything out. So the Water District has some choices to try to address this issue, and they're reviewing them all. I mean, one is to treat every single well individually. Another is to kind of bundle the wells together and create small plants that would treat water from a variety of wells. And another option is to start importing or using the Colorado River water for a portion of the supply for drinking and all the things in our homes. So they're looking at all these options. Of those options, treating the wells is probably the least expensive because they don't have to create any new piping infrastructure, which is very expensive. But these guys are faced with Coachella Valley Water District's faced with somewhere between $75 million and maybe $450 million in cost to figure out how to meet the standards in terms of the Chromium 6. So it's really a problem. So they're looking at talking about how they're going to treat all these things. One thing I didn't see in the list of that is something that's done regularly by the Metropolitan Water District in L.A., which is bringing its water through the Colorado River and the Sacramento Delta. They are blending. So if you have two wells and one is got a very low level of a contaminant and another well has a over the limit level, you can blend water from those two wells and give a better quality water that meets the federal standards. So it's interesting. I haven't seen that being considered at this point, but. Basically, it seems like the highest levels in the valley are in Desert Hot Springs, Thousand Palms, and Indio, and Coachella, and Thermal. And so,
why do you think that?
Well, I mean that's what they're stating, and there are charts that are showing that. I honestly don't know the reason that one area would be higher in naturally occurring Chromium 6 than others, but it's kind of what these water districts are faced with. It's also very interesting. The Desert Water Authority has wells, all their wells are very low or no Chromium 6, so they're the one municipality in the valley that's not being challenged with this.
Who?
The Desert Water Agency.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think the real bottom line here is that they're going to do what they can and move it at the pace that is possible. We're trying to not see our water bills go up, tenfold to try to support this. And
well, that's been a big debate, and that's been big information here the last week, as you said.
Yeah, I think they were taking CVWD was at some point, or either did it or is going to have a vote on to raise water rates.
Right.
And so they're faced with a real challenge, and it's a very small percentage of the water that they drive through there that you and I get to our homes and we consume. And so
we take it for granted, don't we, Rick? I mean, we turn the faucet on. We don't even stop and think where that water's coming from. It's just like when you turn the lights on. No one stops and thinks about the infrastructure and how that amazing, how it's a miracle how everything works together anyway in this day and age. And we take everything for granted, of course. But to cut to the crystal clear home, does that take out the Chromium 6?
It provides a good barrier for it. I mean, I think what has to happen here is that you and I have to take control of what's coming into our home, because that's certainly a less expensive alternative than a water bill that doubles and goes on and on and on. So,
no doubt.
Yeah, there's a technology in our systems known as redox, and it provides a barrier for Chromium 6 as well as arsenic. Arsenic's on the radar right now.
Unbelievable.
And so we want to do everything that we can to provide a barrier for that and reduce the levels of this. And so that's probably the very first step where you can take control and do it yourself. And I know you're working on your new place, and we're excited to see a total property system going in there.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. You got me addicted from my other house, Rick. You got me totally addicted to the crystal clear home. Wendy and I love it, but also just we don't talk much about it, but the savings. So many people drinking bottled water and everything. Bottled water has become so expensive unto itself, and you can spend a small fortune in the summertime trying to keep yourself hydrated, especially if you're running around with your bottled water. If you have a crystal clear home water filtration system, you can fill up as many containers as you want and drink worry-free all day long and not have it cost you an arm and a leg.
Absolutely. You got to make sure you got BPA-free plastic or stainless steel.
Right, exactly.
But that's the goal. And certainly there's portability in bottled waters, but with our climate and the temperatures, as things get warmer, and especially if you got a bottle of water in your car.
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah, you take a sip and you get a nice, healthy dose of plastic. Throw it away.
Yeah, really, you spit it out. It tastes like horse. You know what?
Yeah.
So, Rick Allen, this is all great information. I mean, you've been in this game a long time, and it is much deeper than any of us have any idea. And I thank you for shining the light on the Chromium 6 situation. And you will be periodically, we're going to every week try to wrap it down and update people on the progress of what's going on with these water districts and the purity of our water and how people can eliminate all these worries by getting their own crystal clear home water filtration system. We encourage everyone to go online, crystalclearhome.com, or call 346-4850. And you're accessible, right, Rick? If they call that number and they say, I'd like to talk directly to Rick because he's the guy that really knows about this water and knows the history of what's going on. You are such an expert. Call Rick Allen. If you want to speak directly with him, he can answer any of your questions. He can explain how this technology works. It's so simple. They make a simple installation and no maintenance. You come out and check it like every 5 years or whatever. And I encourage everyone now, this is the time of year where people start taking care of themselves and paying a little extra time. They have a little bit more time on their hands, possibly with the summertime. Take advantage of exploring the possibility of you getting this, and it will save you money in the long run, and it will really help your health big time. 346-4850 or online at crystalclearhome.com. Rick Allen, always a pleasure, and we will wrap it down once again next week, Rick.
That sounds great. I totally appreciate the time, Fitz, and you have a great day.
Thank you so much for all your support for through the years, and we're proud to be partnering with you and always spreading the word and telling people about Crystal Clear Home and how they can get their own total property water filtration system. All right, Rick, stay cool, baby.
All right, Fitz, thank you very much.
All right, now let's put a Pinch Me Band promo on the air here. If you're over in the OC, where's your band playing?
Let's see, we're actually doing a USC golf tournament gala event a week from tomorrow at Oak Creek in Irvine.
Nice.
And we've got a performance at the infamous Pierce Street Annex in Costa Mesa on Sunday afternoon, 4:30 to 8:30. That's a week from this Sunday.
All right, cool. So, Pinch Me Band is the name of the band. Pinch Me Band. Rick?
Fitz, I want you on stage playing guitar with us, so you better drop in, man.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to take you up on that. You know it.
I know you are.
All right. You work about 14 hours a day, and then in the other hours, you get like 3 hours of sleep, and then when you're not sleeping, you're playing music and banging the drums. That's a cool thing.
The water keeps me youthful.
There you go, baby. And you look fantastic, too.
Thanks, you do, too.
All right, Rick Allen, thank you so much.
All right, Fitz.
Have a
Talk
terrific
to you later.
Thursday. Alrighty.
Bye.
If you live in the Coachella Valley in Palm Desert, La Quinta, Indian Wells, Palm Springs, Cathedral City, Indio, Desert Hot Springs, Coachella, or Rancho Mirage, you already know that you have water problems. We're here to help you, and we look forward to hearing from you, so please call us at the number below.